Alright, so I'm about to head off to the gym now, smash some deadlifts, so pretty much glutes and hammies, maybe a little bit of arms. You guys wanted me to take through some of my workouts, so I thought why not bring you along. So yeah, I'll show you what I do, fry my legs and hammies, help you guys grow some legs so we don't have any chickens running around the gym because no one likes that. Just gotta finish sipping on my pre-workout and we'll get started. Alright, so first things first, you always want to warm up before you start going into especially heavy leg sessions, because there's a lot that can go wrong, especially in your lower back. So I'll start off with just some foam rolling, get all that ironed out. You want to go nice and slow with your foam rolling, not too fast. Make sure you iron out all those kinks. Then we move on to some leg swings. Leg swings are really good. Just open up those hip capsules and everything like that, get all that freely moving. And then just some dynamic hip mobilization stretches and stuff like that. No static stretches at the start of your workout. You really want to avoid loosening those muscles up too much. We're just getting some movement in those joints. So yeah, and then handstand to finish. Alright, so before I get into my deadlift session at all, always warm up, pre-activate all those muscles. So I like to do a bit of like RDLs and stuff like that. A few bent over rows just to get that back firing, to help with that isometric contraction as well, just to wake all those muscles up and wake up that central nervous system. Prepare your body to lift. That's the biggest thing, because when you start lifting something heavyweight, you want your body to be awake. Right, the biggest thing here is shins against the bar. Remember that it's a hinge, not a squat. So we're going to be driving through our hips by pushing them forward, thinking about lifting the bar up by pushing our feet into the ground rather than pulling the bar up. That's the biggest thing here. And then from this angle you can see I'm pushing my knees outwards as I go down to really externally rotate at the hips and fire through those glutes. Alright, so now we're moving on to some good old hip thrusts. This is probably one of the best exercises you can do to train your glutes, typically because throughout the whole movement your glutes are under tension, whereas with the squat they'll go only in tension, only be driving at the bottom range of the motion, where this is at the top and at the bottom. So as you can see, obviously not as controlled because I hate these, but we're going to go up to that full extension, squeeze at the top, look at that maximum contraction of those glutes and pushing our knees outwards, really just emphasizing on training squeezing those glutes. You can see from here, this angle, how I load the bar on. You put your elbows on the bench, get just about half your rib cage on the bench to be able to drive your back down rather than backwards. And yeah, use that pad there just to protect those hips. Alright, moving on to rack pulls now. This is one of my favourite exercises, also for growing your back because of that massive isolate hold goes under, and also your grip strength as well. So this one really emphasizes just controlling the weight, really thinking about pushing those hips forward and kind of like leaning back. That's a good teaching cue to think about, is leaning back to get that weight up, and you really want to keep that back nice and straight and try not to watch yourself in the mirror too much like I am. But yeah, really emphasizing driving through those glutes. Alright, and pretty much what I think about when setting up is shoulders up, back and down, forcing the ground apart. My feet probably about 1 o'clock, so not directly straight but just slightly angled out, and as I go up, forcing those knees out and shoulders back the whole time, really concentrating on just keeping that contraction in my back, keeping all that tight and really squeezing those glutes at the top, and it burns. Alright, now we're moving on to a nice little superset. We're going to go RDLs into seated hamstring curls. One thing I do want to quickly point out is the reason I wear cons is not only just for fashion, but it's because they've got a nice flat sole. If you're doing any of these lifts on leg day, or any leg day in particular, I would highly suggest getting flat soled shoes or just wearing bare feet. The reason being is because it allows you to get a nice stable ground to push off. Otherwise you can really injure yourself if you're on running shoes and stuff like that, with more cushioning. With the RDLs, think about externally rotating the hips, so pushing those knees outwards and just maintaining that flat back throughout the whole movement, driving through those heels and loading and driving through those hamstrings. And then making your champ socks are nice and tight. Awesome. Hamstring curls now. The main thing to think about here is just creating that tension in the hamstrings and keeping it there. As you can see through the motion, the hamstrings don't really turn off, and also I'm bracing myself nice and hard into that chair to really avoid any loss of torque or anything throughout the movement. As for feet positioning, I do like to keep them like in that angle, being I don't want to turn my calf muscles on, because a lot of people find the calves will fire up over time. But doing this, and also if you think about pushing your knees outwards in this movement as well, can help big time in firing through those hamstrings. These things that mind and muscle connection, a lot of people say I can't really feel it in my hamstrings. It's just all about learning how to fire that hamstring on. Doing some pre-activation drills will help with that. Alright, moving on to just a little bit of volume set. We're doing Smith machine lunges into some plyo lunges. Now, these can be very tricky due to coordination and everything like that. The main things to think about with this is the front knee is going outwards, and you're going to squeeze your glute to bring yourself back up. If you're finding difficulty with this lunge, maybe put your foot, your back foot a bit further back. That can help big time. Some people like hitting their knee on the ground. For me personally, I do not. I like to keep a bit of tension there. So yeah, just keep just above the ground, about full range of motion. And then some plyo work. We're doing lunge into jumping squat into the other leg lunge. This is really burst. As you can see there, I'm starting to go to failure. But yeah, just give this a go. Also good to burning some calories, and my butt hurts. Alright, so finally, we're going to do some static stretching now just to finish it off. Static stretches not only helps with DOMs, but it'll also help with just getting some nutrients to the muscles. So this is a way of PNF stretching with a resistance band. What we're going to do is put the resistance band around our foot, then we're going to put tension on that hamstring, and then push and hold for 5 seconds, and then release. And each time you want that leg to go further and further back. You want to also think about keeping that other leg flat on the ground. So see how each time I push out, it goes for 5 seconds, and then release. Whenever you release, you want to breathe out. The secret to stretching is being in a relaxed state, so always breathe out when you stretch. That's the biggest key to it all, is breathing out. Because if your body's tight and like in a fight or flight mode, it's not going to relax those muscles, and that can increase the risk of injury. So we want to really avoid that. That's why we're stretching. So yeah, it's always just breathing out. And then here's a simple little hamstring stretch. Obviously, I do not have a lot of range of motion in my hamstrings. It's super duper tight. But yeah, so just keeping tension. Again, a bit of PNF. So 5 seconds on, and then release, and then again 5 seconds on, and that makes a big difference with getting more and more flexible each time you do it. Alright, now we're going to be moving on to really opening up those hip capsules again, hitting a bit of like inner groin and hip flexor. All we're doing is putting our front foot forward, and then hand on the, and you can't really see it from this angle, but you're putting your hand on the inside and you're forcing that knee outwards. So breathe out as you push down each side. Now this is just for demonstration purposes obviously, but you want to be holding this for at least 30 seconds. And some other static stretches, and then you're done. If you guys stayed around to the end, I really appreciate that. Maybe got a good workout in. My legs are jelly. I'm about to smash this bowl of mince and veggies. No carbs left for me today, but I suggest smashing some sort of carbohydrate after your workout to help with protein synthesis. Now all that's left to do is just beat this guy in some table tennis. See you later, guys.